Hi, good evening to one and all, and welcome to this session. And I welcome my friend and my philosopher and my friend and my dearest friend Bob Senator Bob Senator, and he is a doctorate, and he runs his own company, and along with that, he's a freelancer of many companies and also many business clients he is handling. And even with along with that, he's a very good trainer for many people and then role model, and he also worked along with us for last sections too. Now once again I welcome Bob to our platform, and I request Bob to take over the section and train our apprentices in customer relationships and customer management and customer satisfaction and all these elements related to customers. And he having more experience than your age, so take away, so whatever doubts you have, you can ask him in the chat, so that he will answer, and he's very friendly. So let's welcome Bob from Canada. Bob, over to you, Bob. Thank you for accepting once again, and have a great day.
Good morning from Canada. I just need to share something. I need to share here real quick. Share screen. It's not exactly what I wanted it to do. Hang on. I've never used this. I guess maybe I do it this way. Okay, come on. I've never used it before, so I apologize. Share screen. Stop telling me that. What's that? Cancel this. I'm trying to get a PowerPoint presentation up. Share screen. Share screen. Let's see if I do it this way. Can you see? Can people see a PowerPoint presentation there? Hello? Cancel. Shay, do you want to start the PowerPoint presentation on your end? Because I can't seem to share it from my end. And then I'll just say next when you want to go on to the next slide. I can't. Is there anybody out there? Reminds me of a Pink Floyd album. Why won't it let me share? Share. Okay. It's not a video file. It's a PowerPoint presentation. What happened to it? Where did it go to? It disappeared. That's what happened to it. Here. Oh, what a nightmare. Okay. Second. I'm not sure why I can't share my. I'm not sure why I can't share this. I'm trying to pull up a PowerPoint presentation. Oh, okay. My PowerPoint presentation is coming up. Let's see what happens if I share the screen now. Well, while I'm waiting for this to try and get up and running, I'll just say a couple of things. Is that I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about your typical aspects of consumer behavior because you can read those in the textbook. But what I am going to talk about, and I'll talk a little bit about it now, is how behavior has borrowed a lot of its approaches from psychology. And things ranging from product placement. So, for example, organizations pay, companies pay, for example, in grocery stores or supermarkets or just even in convenience stores, they actually pay to have their products placed at eye level, and generally at the eye level of a female, because in most countries around the world, from east to west, it's females who are doing the shopping, unless it's in a hardware store. And when they, but in grocery stores and these sorts of places, and one of the reasons for that is it's related to something that Kahneman, Tversky, and Kahneman called the availability heuristic. And the idea is that when something sort of jumps out at you and is available, you're more likely to view it. You're more likely to do things like see it as occurring more frequently. But in the consumer behavior area, you're also more likely to buy it because it's right in front of you. Okay. But what I'm going to do today is talk about research that I've done and how it's been applied to consumer behavior. And I'm hoping I can get this thing to come up. On your screen. Now, if I do a share screen, will this work? Okay, there we go. Share. Okay. What? It's the same screen that I'm on now. That doesn't help me very much. Stop screen share. Say, do you have any idea how to get this power presentation up and running? Because I can, or you can start it from your end and I can just talk.
Sure, Bob. I will do from my end. No issue. You carry on.
Can you can you see this now that I've shared, or is there nothing? Is it just me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes. It's just only you. You please carry on. I will
Okay.
activate your presentation within a minute.
Well, then let me let. Okay, good. Thanks. I'm just going to do it from your end. Perfect. Again, I apologize. This is I'm used to usually Zoom and sometimes Microsoft meetings, and I've never used StreamYard before, so I'm a naive user. So my friend will get this up and running, and hopefully I'll be able to see it so that I can just talk. I'll talk less, skip a bunch of slides, just make some points, because I don't want to keep you here for a long period of time because of my lack of technological sophistication. I've got dogs barking in the background. Okay. We're 12 minutes into this, so I'm going to be 12 minutes less. I'm going to be going. Okay, next. You should all go get yourself a cup of chai. And I'm going to ask my mother really nicely to make me another cup of coffee because it's morning here and it's evening there. Hey, Mom. My coffee cup's here. You can say hi to everybody. Here, come on over. Say hi. You got to get in. That's my mom.
Hi.
Okay, there you go.
Hello.
Thanks, Mom. Okay, well, you know what? It seems like we're having a problem. So I'll tell you what, I'm just actually talk about this without you seeing any slides, and we can just maybe have a discussion. My academic research, theoretical and experimental research, focused on the effects of affective states on cognitive processes, and that is essentially how we feel affects how we think. So the general model, the paradigm that I would use is we change people's moods. We'd make some people happy and some people sad. And then what we do is I believe I'd be doing this mood induction. And we use all sorts of different mood inductions. More often than not, people don't even know that's what we're doing. And because we don't tell them. And then I leave, and another experimenter takes over and says that they're looking at how people make statistical judgments, or they're looking at persuasive arguments, or they're looking at how people build circuit boards. Lots of different kinds of dependent variables here. And what I've found, and of course, after the mood induction, we also do a manipulation check. We measure people's moods, and we always say, well, one of the things we need to do is measure your mood today, because it could have affected your responses at whatever we did before, kind of thing. And thanks, Mom.
You're welcome.
Anyhow, I was the first person to show that there are information processing benefits associated with sadness. Now, when I'm talking about sadness here, I'm not talking about depression. I'm talking about experimentally manipulated happiness and sadness. And people who we made feel sad actually were more, they process information more systematically, in more detail, paid more attention than relative to happy people. Now, so this is just kind of some days you might just be down a little bit. Other days you might just feel good a little bit. We're not talking about massive differences here. And we're not talking about clinical depression, although there is evidence that mildly depressed people make some judgments that are more accurate. Actually, it's not that they're more accurate, it's that they perceive control when they have control, and in a situation, and they perceive lack of control when they have lack of control. And non-depressed people think they have control all the time. So the non-depressed people are seeing the world through rose-colored glasses. And I hope you can hear me, because Storm, stop barking at me.
Storm, come here.
Anyway,
Go back in here.
so
Come on.
um,
Come here. Come here.
what's that tell me? It tells me that happy people aren't thinking in that much detail. And if you're thinking about consumer behavior, what's that tell you? That tells you that people who are feeling good, who are happy, aren't going to pay attention to information that you try and provide them about a product, right? Because, we developed a model, and one of the reasons that this might be going on is that people see paying attention to things as interfering with their positive mood, and they like feeling good, so they don't want to pay a lot of attention to things. And sad people, on the other hand, might be engaged. So that's called mood maintenance. They want to maintain their mood. Sad people, on the other hand, might want to focus on something to distract themselves from their sad mood. And in doing so, and when they do this, if you focus on something in detail, you're more likely to make good judgments, and that's going to help make you feel better again. And that's called affect repair. So what's that say in terms of consumer behavior and advertising? Well, that says that this this idea of, so for example, I don't know if you get these kind of ads, but we used to over here. They changed them, but they're still going on all the time. Where people, the person that is transmitting the information to you is either looks like an expert, or is an expert, or is credible, or is trustworthy, or is attractive, like physically attractive. Well, these are all, as my friend Rich Petty would say, are all peripheral cues in persuasion. And if you haven't read Petty and Cacioppo's classic work on the elaboration likelihood model of persuasion, you certainly should. Anyway, what this says is happy people are going to pay attention to those kind of cues. And in fact, and they're not going to pay attention to the message that you're giving them, because paying attention to the message is going to interfere with their moods. We even get these effects that are called incredible credibility effects. That's like, I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV. And guess what? Happy people are persuaded by that kind of stuff, right? And sad people go, what? So essentially, in the context of consumer behavior and my research, what it suggests is that if you're going to be presenting information about your product that you want people to buy, if people are motivated, if people are motivated to pay attention to your messages, you better present really strong messages. But if they're not motivated to pay attention to your messages, and they're happy and they just don't want to pay attention to your messages, then you need to use these peripheral cues. The central cues are message strength, okay? And if people are paying attention to messages and your message is extremely weak, people are going to counter-argue it and reject it. But if your message is strong, they're going to agree with buying your, purchasing your product. There are other examples too, where, for example, somebody in a sad mood would pay attention to what you're saying, and somebody in a happy mood wouldn't, and somebody who was happy would say, "Oh yeah, I should buy this product," and somebody who was sad or in a neutral mood would say, "This is just stupid." So, for example, there was a commercial that they had on years ago in North America for Bic razors. Now, Bic razors are these disposable razors that they're plastic and they have blades in them. And Gillette at that point in time, their high-end razor was the Track 2. And they had men sitting in barbershop chairs, and they were all kind of singing in barbershop quartet, no difference. And they were shaving half of each person's face with the Bic razor and half with the other half Track 2 razor. Anyway, so this half versus this half. And these guys are saying no difference. And then what they said is more than half the men tested either preferred the Bic shave or could not tell the difference between the Bic shave and that of Track 2. So the message broadcast was in fact true, but the message received by people who aren't thinking in detail is that the Bic razor is as good as, if not better than, the Track 2. Well, if you're breaking this down and you're thinking systematically and you're paying attention, let's think about it. Over half the men tested, that's 51%. They either preferred the Bic razor, so let's say that's 2%, or couldn't tell the difference, that's 49%. That means that 49% preferred the Gillette Track 2, okay? So what they did is they took real data and presented it in a manner that if you're not paying attention, you're going to be fooled. We also did some other research where we showed that happy people would pay attention to messages when they thought that the messages would maintain their happy moods. So if you're going to be presenting messages in the context of consumer behavior to people to try and entice them to, buy your particular product, what you need to do is you need to ensure that if people think that the message is going to make them feel good, that your message better be strong, okay? Because the happy people are going to pay attention if they think that your message is going to make them continue to feel good. The sad people are going to pay attention all the time, right? So, sad people in induced sad moods are not going to be fooled by stupid messages. And they aren't. I've done research that's shown that, for example, sad people don't pay attention to the attractiveness of the communicator, whereas happy people do. So happy people are persuaded by or like an attractive communicator, and they dislike an unattractive communicator. Sad people, no difference. Okay, so this gets complex. Another issue is whether or not people are capable of actually paying attention to your messages. Because look, it doesn't matter if you're happy or if you're sad. If people if people's memories, working memory is restricted, they actually aren't capable of processing. If they got a lot of things going on in working memory, they aren't capable of processing information in detail. And in that situation, you're going to want to use these peripheral cues to try and convince people to buy your product. And it can be attractiveness of the box, okay, or the packaging. It can be the attractiveness of a person that's in an advertisement. It could be the expertise, credibility, trustworthiness, all this kind of thing, all these kinds of things. Because if people can't pay attention to the message physically, I mean, psychologically can't, you've got too much going on inside your mind because you're processing so much information, they're going to only respond based on based on those peripheral kinds of cues. Then we started doing research where we thought, Storm, stop it. My son named my dog Storm, and he's barking at me. The other issue is this, is that we found all these mood effects, right? That was that, happiness generally causes people to fail to pay attention to things in detail, and sadness, experimentally induced sadness, actually gets people to focus on things. One of my graduate students, Alex Soldat, said to me, one day, well, what about cues in the environment that might signal something negative or positive, but really not affect how people are feeling? And I said, well, that makes some kind of sense. And that's a hypothesis called cognitive tuning. And the idea behind cognitive tuning is that, we're in tune with what's going on around us, okay? And so if you, for example, if you're walking down the street and you see somebody with a smile on their face, it's not threatening. It doesn't do anything to you. It has no impact on how you feel. But also, if you're walking down the street and something looks kind of negative, it doesn't affect how you feel, but you might kind of avoid it, okay? And so Alex said, well, gee, maybe these kinds of things are part of, sort of some sort of evolutionary process that prevents us from getting into trouble, I suppose. And so what he did was he found a color of paper it was a particular shade of blue, and it's in the whole bunch of you can check them out on Google Scholar or on ResearchGate. There's Sinclair and Soldat, and I think there's a bunch of Soldat and Sinclairs, and there's Sinclair, Soldat, and Mark. Anyway, I kept getting Alex to replicate these effects, because what he'd find is he'd randomly assign people doing things like solve graduate record exam questions on this blue paper versus this red paper, and the red paper was rated as conveying positive cues, and the blue paper was rated as conveying negative cues. But it didn't affect people's moods, and it didn't affect readability. And Alex was always finding that the people on the blue paper did better than the people on the red paper. And we even did one with regular white paper in between, and it ended up in between. And I just didn't believe this. Okay, so I just kept getting to replicate it and replicate it and replicate it. And yeah, finally he'd replicated it so many times that I said, okay, I believe it. In fact, I actually randomly assigned people to writing an examination, introductory psychology class examination on either blue or red paper, that the paper that Alex had used. And of course, it was exactly the same examination. They just thought it was a different form of the same examination. And it turned out that the people on the blue paper did significantly better. Their grades were significantly better than those on the red paper. And then I had to adjust all the grades and all this kind of stuff using Angoff's correction. And we also found, Alex also found that if he presented photographs of either a smiling face or the face of a person with a frown on it, out of awareness, okay, so he'd present it, and then there was a mask on a computer screen, so people didn't even know what they were seeing, okay? They couldn't identify it. The people who saw the happy face process information in less detail than the people who saw the sad face, even though they didn't even see them consciously. And he did, more research where he had a communicator giving a little speech to a participant. Now, the participant in the research thought that the other person was another participant, okay, and we rigged things so that it worked out that way. And our communicator was either smiling or had a serious look on her face. And when she was smiling, people paid less attention to her and were less persuaded than if she had a serious look on her face. So, I think I pretty much covered everything I was going to say in my 90 slides. It is essentially, there's nothing wrong with applying psychology to consumer behavior, although it's kind of strange because when we do theoretical research, we're trying to do it for the betterment of humanity, and then people in consumer behavior take our research and use it to make money. Anyway, that's all I want to have to say. Any questions? No questions. I must be like really clear or really unclear, one or the other. And I don't know if Say was presenting those slides to you, because if he was, this would have been the most confusing lecture you've ever seen in your life. But you should have just listened to me. Questions, comments? Nope. Well, then I guess I have to say, have an excellent evening in India. Continue to wear your masks, because my other line of research right now is the pandemic. And be safe out there. Stay away from other people. Wear your masks. Don't vote for Modi in the future, because he told you that everything was nice and safe in January, when he was just dead wrong. You like how I get politics in there too?
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob, for the section, and we are very delightful in your busy schedule in this early morning for you. You have taken our class, and yes, no problem. The questions are being sent to the sir and will be asked. Sir is just logging off right now. So thank you for attending this session, and you can post your doubts in the group. Sir will answer it. And have a great day. Be safe, be homes, wear your mask all the times, and your protection will be your family protection. So with that note, I thank everyone and IIC team, IIC society team, for conducting this event before for Hilite company. And also I thank the Hilite company, the management of Hilite company, which supports us and get this resource person for this event. And it's very great privilege for Bob to have our session. And there will be two more sections by three more guest lectures from different nations in following sections. I hope you will be catching with us. And sorry for some of the few inconveniences happened, but for teaching and learning, nothing comes in a barriers. Have a great day and good times. Be safe.